Hello guys, welcome back to another video, another market watch video. We're doing these weekly at the moment. It's just basically where I sort of give you a summary of what's been going on with bike stuff in my life, and yeah, what's going on with you guys as well. We started something in the last couple of weeks where we have you guys who email me with your bikes and yeah, what you're riding and where you're going and all that good stuff. So we will jump into that after we've done a bit of housekeeping. So this week, basically, I've done a video. Well, I'm doing a video for you guys for motorcycles you can buy for around about the £1,000 mark. I know what you're thinking. Well, you're not going to get a lot for £1,000. Well, I think you'd be surprised. I think there's a few things that would probably shock you what you can get, but we'll get into that in a bit. But yes, as you probably saw the other day, you saw me on the £200 Pan-European. And unfortunately, I broke down in the middle of Croydon, which was, yeah, a bit embarrassing to say the least. But yeah, if you haven't seen that video, check it out. This week, I will be looking into what problems that bike may have or what the issue is with that bike. We've got a couple of ideas. I'm just hoping it's not going to be too expensive because, yeah, the whole point of the bike was it to be a cheap £200 bit of fun. But yeah, it's soon racking up, that's for sure. Not much new with the BMW K1. I have been using it. I've still got to sort the ABS switch. I'm either going to buy a brand new switch, which I can't seem to find at the moment, or we're going to have to repair the old one, which yeah, may need a bit of soldering on the old switch. But yeah, we're going to have to take all that off, and it's not a quick 2-minute job. We'll have to take off all the fairings and then the inner piece and then remove the switch. So yeah, that's a bit of a pain to say the least. The CB400 which to be honest, it's a nail. You probably saw the video the other day. We tried to get the bike running. It boggled and did nothing. But off camera, I did get it to start for about 2 or 3 seconds. So yeah, but that is a full-on restoration. I mean, the whole point of these videos are to show you guys what you can buy, tinker about with. Yeah, that's not really one of those. That's a full restoration. So I'm still in two minds what to do about that. Whether that becomes a winter project where it's fully stripped down, we repowder coat the frame and we just do absolutely everything on it, because yeah, that's not something you can sort of half about with. So I have got a replacement for it actually, which is a very exciting little bike. Well, is it an exciting bike? Probably not, but I'm excited by it anyway. It's similar in the way that it's the same brand. And yeah, just a few years later on. So it's similar in that way, but I'm not going to spoil that for you anyway. That will be an episode next week. And this is something I'm going to start doing, guys. And I want you to tell me if you're interested in me doing this or not. I'm going to, obviously, this bike I've just purchased, I'm going to do, it needs a bit of work doing to it. We're going to do the work, get it MOT, have a bit of fun on it. And then we're going to sell it. And then we're going to look at trading up. So what I'll do is I'll obviously buy this bike, do what needs doing to it, sell it, we'll see if we can make a profit on it, and any profit we do make, we'll go back into the next one, and we'll just keep going and keep going and keep going and see where we can get to with it. So if that's something you guys would be interested in, please let me know, because that's something I'm itching to start. And if it is, then it's something that I will start as soon as the next week or two. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that, guys. As for last week, we discussed enduro bikes. I've got something in the pipeline for that as well, an enduro bike I was after. But yeah, I'm not going to go into that too much at the moment, but there is something in the pipe with that. The K1200, more information again will be coming on that a little bit later on in the year. I've got an idea of what I want to do with that, but yeah, I'm not going to spoil that just yet. The BMX I've been tinkering with. It's up and running perfectly now. I've got a new seat, actually, I need to fit. As you can see, it's from a company called Gusta Leather, or Gusta Leader. Yes, as you can see, it's a very, very cool seat to go with the Springer front in there. So yes, get on the website. If you are after a project, it doesn't have to actually be for bicycles. These would look really cool on sort of all different sort of chops and that sort of stuff. So yeah, have a look. I was quite shocked at what a reasonable deal this seat was. So have a look on the website. They've also given, I think they've given me a 10% discount code off for all you guys as well. So have a look in the description. You'll see a discount code for that for 10%. And yes, it is beautifully made. But I will go into more of a video of that and me fitting that in the next week or so, and then we'll do another test ride, because to be honest, that bike was utterly unrideable with the old seats. So yes, have a look on Gusta Leader's website. They just do the best seats, and they're good value as well. So that's going to go so well with the Springer front. So I'm quite pleased with that. Right, so I think that pretty much completes our housekeeping for this week. Right, let's get into the interesting bit. The market watch. What have I seen for around the £1,000 mark? As I say, some are 1,000, some are sort of 1,200, maybe a little bit more, but there's obviously room to negotiate that price down. Okay, here's one bike I really like. And a lot of you are going to go, what? Why? It's the most boring bike in the world. And to be honest, I would understand why you think that. It is the Honda NTV 650. Dispatch rider's favourite bike, isn't it? Shaft drive, absolutely, utterly reliable, made out of pig iron. I've seen these with 150 to 200,000 miles on, and even more than that. Yeah, this one went just literally just sold today, actually. And all these bikes I'm showing you as well they're not damage repaired, they're not they've got MOTs, they're ready to go. But I've got nothing against pre-damaged bikes, but that just sort of skews the market a little bit. So yeah, we're just keeping it straight on just non-category motorcycles with an MOT. So yeah, this NTV 650 sold for a grand sum of £960. Yeah, so these bikes are about 212 kilos, about 58 horsepower. Yeah, so they're not mega powerful, but enough to have a bit of fun on. And a bike like this is going to cost you nothing to run as well. This one's only done 42,000 miles. It's a 96. It's got an MOT till 2026. He's done a few bits to it recently. Yeah, he's had the seat recovered. Says there's a bit of surface rust here and there, which is going to be for a bike of this age. But as long as you do the oil changes, look after it, service it, this bike will just go on and on. 42,000 miles is nothing for a bike like this. Absolutely nothing. Which brings me on to a bit of a thing I saw Nevesy actually from MCN was talking about the other day. He was talking about what is high mileage, and he was talking about a KTM SMT 990 that which I owned one of those bikes, and it was one of the most fun bikes I've ever owned. But I'm digressing a bit, but yeah, what he was saying was this bike had done 33,000 miles, which he considered a lot of miles for a motorcycle, which I think it's fair depending on the bike you're sort of talking about. If you're talking about, an ST 1300 Pan Euro or a Goldwing or something like that, then 33,000 miles isn't much. To be honest, I don't think that's much on even the more sort of run of the mill stuff as well. I mean, I think if you're talking 33,000 miles on a Ducati 748 or something like that, I'd say yeah, that's getting a bit leggy at that point. But it's like anything, as long as it's looked after, it will be fine. But yeah, what would I consider high mileage? I would have to consider it on the bike. There were a few of his watchers sort of saying that they thought anything over 10,000 miles was a lot of miles. To me, no, 10,000 miles is nothing. I mean, if you're talking a 50cc scooter that's never had anything done to it, I'd say that's not bad mileage. But yeah, I'd never say 10,000 is high miles. As I say, you've got to just take every bike on its own merit. So yeah, I don't consider 30 or 1,000 miles particularly big mileage, but there you go. Right, the next bike I found is on for £1,350 or best offer. So, a cheeky offer of £1,000 might bag you this. It's a 1999 Kawasaki ZZR1100 with only 19,000 miles on it in excellent condition. And it does look really good, actually. He's even got a top box there if that's what you need. It's a good looking bike, actually. It looks it looks like it's been looked after anyway, that's for sure. It is in excellent condition, 1999 on a T-plate, not much in the way of history, 26 years old now, 250 odd kilos, 150 odd horsepower, but that is a real comfy tourer. And if it's been looked after, which to be honest, it's low miles and looks in good condition, I don't think you can go too wrong with a bike like that. Which brings me on to my next one, which is pretty similar, to be honest. It's a ZZR1200. This is a 2002 on an O2 plate. currently up for £1,350 on Facebook Marketplace. It was up for £2,000, but he's dropped it to £1,350 or near offer. So that goes to show you what the market are thinking about these right about now. I mean, it's a heavy beast, wet weight of around about 250 or 260 kilos, 158 horsepower though. 40,000 miles, so it looks like a tidy, straight bike, but you'd have to go and see it. But that's so much bike for the money, isn't it? Again, you might chance your arm and offer £1,100, and he may take it. Again, all these bikes have MOTs and ready to go, and that ZZR was also on Facebook Marketplace. The ZZR1100 was on eBay. Another bike you probably have been put well off of purchasing at the moment, and that is a 1993 Honda ST1100 Pan-European. As I say, if going back to my little issue I had with mine breaking down the other day, it's, yeah, we don't quite know what the issue is at the moment, but we're figuring it's possibly the alternator, but we're going to have to look into that. But again, this is something you want to ask the owner. Has it had the upgraded alternator fitted? This one has spent most of its life in Spain by the sounds of it, and it's only got 40,000 miles and is in very good condition. And it's up for £1,150. You've got all the panniers there as well. It looks straight, but again, you need to check the swing arm on these as well because they rot through. But it's stayed in a dry climate, so this shouldn't be too bad. But you'd have to go and have a look at it. But again, yeah, I'd ask him about the alternator. Has it had the upgraded alternator? Because if it hasn't, this original model didn't, and these are the ones that really suffered. But I'm also suffering with the upgraded one at the moment, so we will see if it is that. Of course, I might be diagnosing it a bit early, but I love this one as well. I think this is a great colour. I think it's just being looked after. It's got a good screen on it, and it's so much bike for the money. £1,150 on your offer. I think you could chance your arm. I think you'd probably take £1,000 for it. Again, it's got a full year's MOT ready to go. It's an offensive amount of bike. Right, bringing on to a bike that, oh, these been going about for years and years, and the prices seem to be going up on them. This is a Suzuki SV650. This is a 1999 model. It is £1,100. I remember when you could pick up a good one of these for around about £750, £800. Doesn't seem to be the way anymore. This is the S version with the fairing on the front. The standard version just has the headlight, yeah, with no fairing. I prefer the newer shape, you know, the more sharper edged bike, but those seem to be going for, yeah, for a lot more money. They've all just seemed to have increased massively. Everything else seems to have come down. The SV650s, I think, have eventually sort of finding their feet a bit. I mean, a lot of them were used for Super Twins racing and stuff like that. But yeah, finding a good one is hard because they don't tend to weather very well. This one has covered around about 35,000 miles, 30,000 miles, 2,000 on W plate, 195 kilos, 70 odd horsepower. So it's more than enough to have fun. But yeah, I would suggest with those sort of spending a bit more to get a good one, because there's so many about, you can afford to be fussy with something like that. But we're trying to stick around the £1,000 mark. This bike, I think, is really rather cool looking for £1,000. It's a Triumph Trident 900. You don't see many of these about anymore. This one's done 47,000 miles. It's £1,000 on the nose. It's got a full year's MOT. It's in good condition. It's a 98 on an R plate. Yeah, it's 100 horsepower, 212 kilos. It's a cool looking bike. It really is. I like that a lot. They're so robust, these things. If they're looked after, they'll go on, you know, and I like a triple. I think they're cool. But yeah, if you want to get into Triumph without spending huge money on a Bonneville or something like that, then you could really make this look really good for £1,000 or near offer. You know, I think that's pretty impressive value for money. As I say, there are other bikes on the market that do come up for around about this sort of sum, but this is what is available today. You could go out and buy today. Right, okay, so I think we've got a couple of bikes here that are worth a mention. I mean, I always go on about these anyway, and that's Honda VFR 800s or the 750. This one here is £850. To be honest, again, I would spend more money. I would, you know, for around about £1,500 or a bit more, you can get a good one. You know, these suffer with downpipe issues of rusting, and yeah, there's a couple of electrical gremlins when it comes to sort of fuel gauges and stuff like that. So yeah, and the ABS and the fuel injection light will start flashing and a few other bits. So yeah, that's why I didn't really put this on the list, because it's one of my absolute favourite bikes actually. But I think for this sort of money, just spend a bit more and get a good one. There's so many good ones about that have been loved and adored that yeah, I would really go and spend a bit more and get something a bit better. Next one as well I put on here. So, well, this is why this sort of made it into this sort of section, because we've had two ZZRs already. This is a ZZR600. These are so underestimated, these bikes. Everyone always talks about the ZX6R and whatever else, but this is they're so much more comfortable. They're 100 odd horsepower. They handle well. They're very reliable. If they're looked after, they'll just go on and on. This is £1,000 on the nose. This has done about 30,000 miles. It's yeah, it's 195 kilos. They are so underestimated, and you can see these going about for under £1,000, or you could get the best one going for £2,000. But yeah, if you want something to use and have fun on, I just think they're so underestimated, these ZZRs. So yeah, an interesting bike, I thought. Okay, I thought, you know what, I'll throw a little bonus in here for you guys. It is a something you can buy for around about £1,000, but this one isn't £1,000. This is a 1999 Suzuki GSF 600 Bandit, brand new, old stock, 0 miles in the Suzuki box still. It's bid up to £2,450 at the moment. My dad had one of these actually, and I loved it. I'd ridden it a few times. It was such a nice bike. It was loved and adored. So yes, that is an interesting bike. As I say, you can get these all day long for £1,000. I love the 1200 Bandits, the Mark ones. That's where I put my money. But yeah, for around, they're not £1,000, but these 600s are around about that. You can spend more, you can spend less. So there you go. That pretty much sums up Market Watch for this week, guys. So let's get on to the bit you probably enjoy the most. It's one of the bits I enjoy the most, actually. And this is Reader's Rides. Okay, the first email I've received is from Mr. Ashley Churnside. And he says, hi, I returned to riding after a gap of about 30 years. In the dim distant past of the Triumph 500 Speed Twin and a Suzuki GSX 250. I'm based in the south of France, where he's got lovely roads down here and pretty much always empty. I had a problem with exchanging my license. The French would not recognise my full bike license, so I had to take because I took my test before 1966, before the system was computerised. So I was limited until a 125 until the problem was resolved. So 5 years ago, I got a Chinese bike, a Pioneer 125 with a twin port Life and CG clone. It's been very reliable and given me a good return back to motorcycling. And I've also got an NTV 650. There you go. We've already discussed the NTV 650, which had a bit of a carb issue when he bought it, which is now sorted. But he's also got an RG125R as a project, which I just think is the coolest project. So yeah, I'm a little bit jealous of that. I've had a few RGV 250s in the past. I love RGVs. I love RS 250s, but we could bore you all day with that sort of chat. Okay, on to our next reader's rides, and this is from Steve G. Do you know what? When Steve sent me this is something I've been thinking about a lot recently, and it's a bike I really want. So as soon as he sent me this, I was like, oh, is this a sign? Is it written in the stars? Hi Ben, following on from your latest vid, this was about the enduro bikes. I thought I'd drop you an email. I currently have one bike in my stable, an XADV 750 Honda. I love these bikes. 55 horsepower isn't enough to be fun, but I couldn't get it out of my head, so I ended up buying a 2018 XADV to go alongside my 2022 R1250 GS. I mean, everyone loves a GS, don't they? I mean, that is, you go anywhere abroad, you go to France, Spain, or anywhere on the tunnel, everyone's got a GS, and it's for a reason. I never would have predicted what happened next. After 18 months of owning the ADV, I was never riding the GS, as the ADV was my go-to bike. The piece the GS was on PCB, and I actually ended up giving it back, only having the ADV. Oh, so he's just got the ADV now, which is making me want it even more. So he's had a GS 1250. He's had some fun on it and said, actually, I prefer my ADV. And this is not helping with me wanting one. My small group of riding buddies have been talking about doing a long trip for years, but life seems to be getting in the way. What actually really works for as well is night camp. So we go away after work on a Friday, camp for one night, and then you're usually home by Saturday lunchtime, and it keeps the wife happy. I'd absolutely love an XT500, but I fear it'd be nasty to ride with the nasty drum brakes. Please prove me wrong. I get what he's saying there. That is a valid point. When you do come off of newer bikes and you do get onto older bikes, you've got to take them for what they are. So, yes, that is a great email from Steve there. And it hasn't helped my want for an ADV. But there you go. There's a few pictures of his bike. It looks fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, we have had another email from Mr. Henna Kern. I hope I pronounced that correctly. He's in Belgium. He's just bought a brand new Honda NT1100. It looks the business. It's brand spanking new. And here's another picture actually of what he's planning on doing with the bike. He's doing his own custom graphics as well. But what he has been using for years is an XJ600S Yamaha, which has got 150,000 kilometers on the clock. So, yeah, he's been using that, but he's going to give that to his friend, and he's going to start using the NT1100. So, what a gentleman he is. So, yeah, thanks for getting in touch. Our last reader's ride is Andros Karazavos. I hope I pronounced that correctly. He is in Cyprus. He says, good morning from a hot and dusty Cyprus. I got my Honda NX500 in a pure midlife crisis. When I mentioned it to the missus, it'd be nice to have one. She said, why not? So I got the bike in November, then got my license in December. Then to January to the end of March, I was fighting cancer. And no, we're able to build my confidence for next summer, 2026. So, well, it says here he's on the mend, so that's really good news, and I'm glad you've got yourself a toy to have some fun with, which probably made you feel a little bit better through that sort of dark time, Andros. So, yeah, I really appreciate you getting in contact, and we're all wishing you the best of luck. And yes, if I ever do pop to Cyprus, I will be claiming that beer you've offered as well, Andros. So, thank you very much. So that pretty much summarises Reader's Rides for this week. If you'd like your bike featured, guys, please email me. Here's my email address. Yeah, tell me where you're based. Tell me a little bit about the bike, how long you've had it, and where you're planning on going on the bike and what you're planning on doing with it. I love to see these emails. Yeah, it just shocks me how much fun I have when I see them and I read them, and I just think, yeah, it's just interesting to see what you guys are riding, you know, because I talk about my bikes all the time and whatever else. So, yes, it's interesting to see what you're doing with your bikes. So let me know. Okay, guys, I think that pretty much summarises Market Watch for this week. So, yeah, so let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about the trading up idea. Is that something you'd like to see? Please let me know. As always, guys, I'll see you in the next one.